Hey guys, welcome to episode number 2 of the Ask Glenos SEO show. So what we're going to be talking about today is a very basic understanding of SEO, how it works and why we do it. So episode 1 was based on the fact that we got a question asked by a partner of ours. So anytime you guys ask us questions, we're going to make that our top priority. If in this case, this week we didn't get any questions, we'll basically go to beginner 101, frequently asked questions that we can actually find on Google, what people are searching for on Google, and basically use that as how we build content going forward. And then if next week we get a question, then we'll go straight to that. And then the week after that, we'll go back to what people are asking for on the internet anyway. So we want to make sure that we give the priority first to you guys that ask the questions. And then if you guys aren't asking any questions, we'll just go to what other people are asking the internet basically, and based on what Google suggests as the most frequently asked questions around SEO. I did have crawling and indexing. So there's a lot of confusion that lastly I want to get on the difference between crawling a web page and indexing, okay? So the first thing I spoke about last week was the accessibility. Assuming your website is accessible, it comes to your website and it crawls. Now, just because a Google crawls a website doesn't necessarily mean it's going to index it. What does indexing mean? Indexing means Google has crawled a page, it's seen your web page on your website, and has decided that it wants it in its archive. And that archive is also commonly referred to as index. So it wants your page. It wants /dogs. Now, it's crawled /dogs, and now it's decided to index. You know what? Let's change colour. Hopefully you can see it if you can't. I'm going to use purple. And purple is going to represent Google's index. Can you see it? Yeah, maybe not. Doesn't matter. So the purple is Google's index. So I'm going to use a green pen. No, you can't see green. I'm going to use red. I think I can see red, yeah. So Google comes across and sees /dogs. It can understand, oh look, you got all this content. You got a link from Dogs Care, even though it's gone to your 3 tips. It can see that you got other really important content coming from authoritative websites. Then it sees this page. It's more likely going to index everything, right? That it sees and that you allow it to index. So it crawls these pages. It says it signs in, these pages are authoritative enough. I'm going to add them to my index. Okay, so it's got to crawl before it can index. You got to walk before you crawl. But you got to index. You got to crawl before you index. Okay, think of it like that. So, but you can also disallow certain, and I'm not going to get into that, but you can disallow Google to index certain content in Bing from indexing certain pages of your site. So if you have secure pages that you don't want them to see, or you don't want them indexed, or you might have something called canonicals. And canonicals is a whole discussion in itself that I didn't have time to bring up last week. It's one of my favorites because it's all got to do, I guess, with crawlability in a nutshell, but I couldn't break it down. Canonicals. And that's if you have /dogs, and then you have a big selection of dogs, and then you might want to select a certain attribute of a dog. Let's say you're selling dogs online, you're selling puppies, and you want to sell I don't know, what would be a good like maybe let's just say you don't have a page called brown Labradors, and for this sake it will just be, you might see them on the website and they might change the attribute to brown, so then just shows brown. So what sometimes happens, and I don't know if this is the best example, but it's the best I can think of, you might see question mark in the URL and you'll see brown, you might see color equal brown. So you'll see /dogs, you'll see a little question mark, and it'll be that's called a query perimeter, and therefore it's the same page that's basically been broken down into just showing you the brown dogs. So it's the same page, it It has all the same content. It's got the heading, you know, big and small dogs, and then showing a specific. But now, instead of showing you all the dogs, which is the default page setup, it's now you've selected a filter. Let's say you've clicked on an icon, or you clicked on a drop-down menu, and it's changed the URL to just brown, but it's the same. It's only appended the query mark. It hasn't changed the entire URL. So what Google then's got to work out is, whoa, I'm seeing basically the same pages, right? The only difference is you've changed the sort of images. So which one do I show to search engines? So what we normally do, we add a canonical on the query perimeter back to /dogs. So we don't redirect it, because if you redirect, 301 redirected, people can't get to the brown dogs. But you want to show it to users that makes sense, but you don't want Google to index it. And so it's a legitimate page. Google will crawl that page. You want Google to crawl it, but not index it. And that's where people get confused with canonicals. Because canonicals are still get followed, the links on the page are still followed. So it'll still see the page, but it won't throw it in the index. So you won't see query mark brown dogs, because it's still the same page as dogs. And so that's another way of making sure that it gets crawled, but it doesn't get indexed. And that's a legitimate way that Google will crawl a page, but it won't index it. And that makes sense, because otherwise it creates duplicate content issues. Episode 3, duplicate content. Please remind me, duplicate content. Got to talk about that. So hopefully, I'm going to leave it at that, but crawling does not equal indexing. It's just usually just the first part of the process. And hopefully, guys, this has been a really good basic 101. You know, I find that some of the different, like, it actually throws me off when people ask really simple questions. I'm thinking, what do you do for a living? And I can easily say, it's search engine optimization. It's a process of improving your website's visibility on the search engines. But then, in front of camera, you kind of go, what's the best way to describe it? And then the brain goes in overdrive, rather than if someone asked you on the side of the street. So it's been a bit of a journey for me to be able to talk on camera and to get my thoughts out clearly and concise and understand straight. So I'm describing it to you as if it's only just you that's asking me. So guys, if you've got a question on the crawling versus indexing, what is SEO, why we do it, what are search engines, and how SEO is done and understood, please, guys, leave a comment in the comment section below, and hopefully you can maybe ask me a question that I can do for episode number 3. Thanks a lot, guys. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you did too.